What is up, party people? I haven't done a live video in a while just because life has been crazy, but we are doing a couple at the end of this month, and I wanted to not only test some of my new equipment, but I also wanted to show off my new computer a little bit. And the big question is, well, is it any good? I just picked it up this past week, and I have just started to edit photos on it. My last computer was a 20, technically, but it's a 2019 iMac, and I absolutely hate it. It's got 16 gigabytes of RAM. It's the Intel i7 processor, and it's just whenever I try to run Lightroom on it, it's just incredibly slow. I have to make sure all my other programs are closed. I have to run one-to-one previews on them to make sure that I can actually go through the photos and not have to wait an eternity for each one to load. So I picked up a new iMac, and I want to just pull up the specs for you guys right here real quick so you guys can get an idea of what I'm editing on. So it's the 2023 16-inch MacBook Pro, and it is running the Apple M2 Max processor. I did go for the 96 gigabytes of RAM just because I wanted something that was going to be a little future-proof, and I figured, you know what, while I probably won't be using that right now, as more programs get updated and all that, I wanted something that would be able to keep up with the time. So that's pretty much what I got. It's got something stupid like a 30-core processor, so it should be, in theory, really fast. So what I'm going to do actually is just kind of run through a recent engagement session here, so you guys can kind of just see what I'm doing, and we're going to test this out together actually and figure out if this computer actually is fast. So let's go ahead and go through. So I have a couple of engagement sessions here that I'm just going to be going through, and immediately kind of what I'm seeing a little bit is that I'm seeing that there's a little bit of a lag, a little bit of a delay because I'm streaming. It's not really bad though, but it's definitely not as fast as it could be, and I'm wondering if that's just because, again, I'm not running one-to-one previews or anything on these images or what. But so far, I've been pretty happy with the laptop. I think the majority of the issues, that I've been having with Lightroom are more of an actual Lightroom issue, not necessarily a computer issue. But I can tell you already that this computer is way faster than my last one. And the nice thing too is I can obviously be very portable with this. If you guys are watching, please feel free to drop a comment. Let me know you're watching this. I am monitoring the comment section here. And if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask me about anything. It can be about this computer. It can be about editing. It can be about life. It can be about my favorite breakfast cereal. I do not mind. So if you guys have any questions, I'm going to be here live for about 20 minutes or so, just kind of editing. I haven't done one of these how I shot it and edit it videos in a while, so we can kind of use this as a or just an opportunity to ask me questions. I'm also trying a new thing where I'm simultaneously broadcasting to YouTube as well. So we're going to see after this is over what's going on there and if that actually did record to YouTube. So this session is one I just shot last week, actually. I've had this weird thing recently where I've had like 4 couples in a row that are doing their engagement photos like literally only a few weeks before their wedding. And so obviously I'm trying to help them out by getting their photos done before the wedding. So I want to get these done as soon as I can. Okay, so there's our first issue. We got a little bit of a hiccup there, loading hiccup, and again, that's probably a little bit to do with this because I'm streaming to 2 platforms at the moment. I don't know. I'm not a super techie guy, but these are actually, yeah, I'm actually quite happy with the performance so far. Let me see here real quick. Yeah. This was a fun couple. This guy actually, this guy used to be a wedding photographer, and he was showing me some of his photos after the session. And he was telling me that, I remember him telling me that like he's kind of made himself irrelevant just because his photos and his style, people don't really like anymore. And I was looking at his photos that he showed me, and to an extent, he was correct about his processing style. Definitely very old school, kind of he kind of had some of those like old sepia tones and the old school like white vignetting that you see on some of those photos from like the 90s and the early 2000s. But I was pleasantly surprised that his photos were actually pretty good. And I think he was just being a little hard on himself because his photos are actually really good, but that's neither here nor there. Let's see. Okay. So I am just going through these. Oh, what is Daniela saying? She is the one I'm interviewing next week, by the way. Yes, I am live, and am I working in my old catalog? No, I'm not actually. I am using a brand new catalog specifically for these photos. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I am using my old catalog. That's a good point. I will try a new catalog, actually, and see if that helps increase performance at all. Yes, sorry, that was confused because I am running the same catalog, but I'm using these photos are directly on my computer, so I'm not working off of a hard drive or anything like that. One second. How often are you editing on the road where it makes more sense to get a laptop than a desktop? This question comes from David. So actually, that's another big reason why I got a laptop is because I'd like the ability to edit while I am on the road. So, next week I'm actually going to be out of town for 9 or 10 days actually. I'm not going to even be in Colorado. So I, you know, it's very nice to be able to have an editing machine when I'm on the plane or if I'm on the road. That's a funny photo, which is another big reason because and like as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I had an iMac, and I had to be here. I had to be at my desk if I wanted to edit, and now the ability to be able to edit wherever I go is going to be very convenient. I did have this couple's so funny. I did have a laptop previous to this, and I actually still have it. It's now going to be dedicated to my DJ only laptop, but it just wasn't fast enough to keep up with my Nikon Z9. Excuse me, my Nikon Z9 files. Whereas my new laptop obviously can. So let's see here. Create a new one, Daniela says. You will see the difference. Okay, I will definitely do that, and I will report back. So this was cool. This guy is a creative in all aspects, loves playing the guitar. That shadow right there bugs me. I think I addressed that, though, a little bit, and I moved my flash just a tad. But, man, this was a really fun session. Really fun session. I actually really liked this. They, really cool couple. Obviously, I love it when they bring some props. It kind of just breaks up the monotony of, like this traditional engagement session. I don't know if I actually yeah, that's fine. Yeah, and just the fact that he brought a guitar was super unique. Yeah, this was fun, though. Same perspective, or same scene, but with a wider lens now. Let's see, any more comments on Facebook? Nope. Okay. Yeah, this was an unscheduled live. I did not plan this. I'm mainly just doing it to test the new computer out and test a new microphone, and also test simultaneous streaming to the YouTubes, the internets. So actually that white balance is quite different than that. I'm going to warm this up, or this series of photos up just a tad, just to kind of give some more consistency. Yeah, because that's a little too cool for me. A little too cool. Awesome. Let's see. Apparently, so this guitar apparently is 60 years old. It was from the 1960s, and apparently it's made. This is just what this guy was telling me, the groom here. Apparently, it was made from some wood that's like really hard to find, and yada yada yada. But it did sound actually really good. But yeah, I always love super old guitars like this and just vintage things, you know. So there we go again. It's slowing down a little bit. Like I said, I still got to dial this thing in. But so far, it's so much faster. So much faster than my old computer. It's like night and day difference. Going back to the comments. I also need to get a new monitor too. I'm only running 2 monitors at the moment, and I do need to get a third. Okay, Rick says, currently editing on my laptop since my 10-year-old Mac can no longer upgrade to the latest Adobe version, unable to read R5 CR3 files. Yeah, 10 years old is ancient technology when it comes to computers, unfortunately, you know. Yeah, a lot of photos with their guitar. Come on. Why isn't it loading? There we go. They really wanted to incorporate the guitar in a lot of these photos, so I made sure to do that. And also get the ring. She was very proud of her ring and of her nails. She got her nails done. But yeah, see, look how quick actually that even just zooms in and out. Like on my old machine, I'd have to like click, wait 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it would load. And sometimes that was even with one-to-one previews built, and I had no one-to-one previews on this. So yeah, very very pleased so far with their performance. Let's see here. Yeah, way overdue for a new desktop. I agree. And honestly, if you can swing it, Rick, I would totally recommend that you get a laptop. I mean, it just completely changes the game, and allows you to edit, kind of wherever you need to. Um, Obviously, they're a lot more. They're actually about twice as much, but it's going to make your life way easier. So I'm going to edit this guy in Photoshop so I can remove that light stand. I could do it in Lightroom, but it's going to be a lot more challenging. So let's go ahead and see. Oh, actually, I just realized I only have Lightroom selected here. You won't be able to see what I'm doing in Photoshop, so let me change to Photoshop so you guys can see it. There we go. So basically I'm just using the healing brush tool here. Just going to get rid of this light stand. And not the best job, but it'll work. Yeah, that'll work. As long as they can't tell. And actually, now that I think of it, I do need to be a little more careful with my edits because this guy is a photographer and he will probably be looking for silly things like that. Not that I wouldn't do a good job for every couple, but there's some things you can kind of be a little looser on that normal people and clients would never ever pick up on, but someone that's a photographer absolutely would. Let's go ahead and go back here to Lightroom. Perfect. There's the edited file. There's the original. Okay. Let's see here. Which one do I like best? I think I like that one the best. I think I can just crop this light stand out. Yep, sure can. I'm just gonna have to edit out that shadow, which is easily done. And if you guys are just joining us, I'm doing this video because I got a new laptop and I'm just testing it out. If you guys have any questions about my editing or about my laptop or life, my favorite cars, my favorite breakfast cereals, my favorite watches, my favorite dog, whatever you guys have any questions on, please let me know. So you guys might see there's a lot of photos with like her hair in her face, and that was actually intentional. They have this like weird quirk. They have this weird thing where he loves to like mess with her hair and like put it in her face. So you'll see there's a lot of photos like that. So if you're wondering why is Sean selecting the photos where there's hair in her face, it's an inside joke between the two of them. David says, now I'm going to go through our wedding photos looking for quick edits. Oh man. So yeah, I captured David's wedding. I guess it was four years ago now, or no. Yeah, 4 years ago, 2019. So he's gonna go back through and look, and there's usually always something I miss. Like every now and then I'll leave like a photo in where the light stands not photoshopped out, or I'll accidentally include the edited and the unedited version. That'll happen. Rick's asking, what's your favorite specs on the new system? I mean, I would say probably for me it's the processor. The fact that it has the M2 Max. I'm coming from an Intel i7, which is garbage, and the fact that Apple has their own now is great. Oh my god, I am not going to answer that question. Sorry. At least not on Facebook Live in a professional setting. Sorry. Okay, let's see here. This was such a fun. This is some of the best scenery I have had all year so far, actually. Amazing scenery. I really, really got lucky this day. We actually rescheduled the session like 3 times due to weather, so I'm glad that we were able to make it work. Yeah, the only thing I really need to get is just a new monitor because I do have my iMac that I can mirror to, but the problem with that is it limits a lot of it limits a lot of functions. It disables some video features and audio features, and there's also a little bit of a lag. So if I'm just doing like normal processes, like not using video or anything, then it works great. But if I'm doing like a live stream like this, for example, I can't use it. So I do need to pick up some sort of 4K color corrected monitor at some point. It's been a very expensive month though for me, so I'm gonna try to hold off as long as I can. This is a really good photo, but that is bugging the crap out of me. I don't want to edit it, but I think it's too good of a photo not to. So we're gonna go ahead and bring this into Photoshop and edit that. uh, let's see here. Okay, so you can't see my Photoshop screen right now, but I'm just gonna do a quick edit on it. So I'm just using back in Photoshop. I'm using the healing brush tool to kind of get rid of some of these flyaways. I prefer to use Photoshop for some of these more in-depth edits. I just think it's a little bit easier to edit stuff like this out. It takes a little bit more time. Well, actually, it doesn't necessarily take more time. It saves time, but it's just one more step that you have to do by bringing the image into Photoshop. So, into Photoshop. So we're gonna go ahead and let that save. It's still saving in Photoshop right now. Okay, there it is. Perfect. Flyaways are gone. And obviously I won't do that on every photo because that would take a million years, but some of the, really good photos where it kind of bothers me. Let's see here. Oops. Okay. This was a challenging. This was a bit of a challenging shot. I was kind of taking photos straight into the sun, and not only that, I was kind of dealing with an awkward pose with them on this rock. So I actually kind of moved them after this. Yeah, and then I was just getting some kind of awkward shadows. It was really I didn't have an assistant as usual, so it's kind of hard to place my light stand in a spot I really liked. So you kind of get some of this clamshell lighting. There, that's a little bit better. I had her move her chin up. That's actually a good shot. Wish I could have brought the light a little bit more to the left just to fill in some of the shadows on his face, but not a terrible shot. I actually really like this photo. This was shot wide, very wide, but I actually kind of like the perspective of that a little bit. Are you hosting a photo critique this month? Yes, I am. I'm just waiting to hear back from our. Well, I mean, that's the plan at least. I'm just waiting to hear back from our guest reviewer. She hasn't gotten me the information I need yet, so I'm still waiting from her. I'm gonna send her another reminder to her this afternoon. But she's a really talented photographer, and I can't wait to introduce you guys to her as well. But yeah, like I said, we got two more live videos this month. We got the one with Daniela next Tuesday, and then we got one at the end of the month for our image critique. So stay tuned for those because we're going to get some really good educational content out to you guys. And then, of course, I have my workshop in ClickCon coming up in the end of July, beginning of August. So if you guys are around and available, it's going to be a really good learning opportunity. Let's see here. Shot these naturally lit. I'm actually going to crop this tighter. There we go. Let's see, is this sharp? Nope, it's definitely not sharp. So we're going to not choose that one. see. There we go. That one's sharp. I don't really like the perspective I shot this at, but I know there's better ones though. Let's see. There we go. There's a smile. Let's see here. Yeah, now stuff's loading pretty slow. I'm not sure why. I mean, slow is a relative term. It's still fast compared to my old computer, but like you'll notice every few photos there's a little bit of like a pause. Not digging his facial expression, so I'm not selecting any of these. That one's pretty good. Yep, that one's good. We'll include that. Bring down the highlight. Actually, bring down the exposure just a smidge. There we go. Awesome. Let's see. Kind of an awkward position I had him in, but it's kind of a fun opportunity. Dude's wearing an Apple Watch. You guys know how I feel about that. Yeah, see, there we go again. Every few images, it like kind of just pauses for a second. Okay. Love that. That's cute. I like that. Cut off their feet a little bit though. But one thing I'll do is just kind of crop it so it's not as big of a deal. Yeah, there we go. See, a lot better. Yeah, if anyone knows why it does that every few photos, I would really love to know. I'm sure you guys saw, like when I scroll through, it kind of just does a little pause. Super weird. Yep, see, there it goes again. I have no idea why it's doing that. Hasn't done that. It's only done that when This is the first time it's done it. It hasn't done it when I'm just by myself and not live streaming, so. There it goes again. Super bizarre. This is a little thing they made for their sign-in. It's like their sign-in little, I don't know what you call it, frame for their wedding. So people will drop like little hearts and stuff in there. You guys are wedding photographers. I'm sure you've seen it many times. Perfect. I think next time I'll try to build one-to-one previews and see if that helps with this loading issue. Because yeah, now all of a sudden I'm having these issues with loading and I don't really understand why. It's a little weird. I'm gonna change that perspective a little bit. There we go. So as you guys can see, I'm shooting a lot of natural light. You see a lot of my hero shots in my portfolio and what I share in the group, like with off-camera flash, but good majority of my photos, I'm just using natural light. And one of my big things is, light is good light, whether it's from your flash or from just the ambient light in the scene. And I always try to tell people, use flash as a creative tool or when it's necessary. Don't use it just to use it. They really wanted photos with this blanket, so I made sure we got some before we headed to the next spot. Looking good. I think we can skip through some of these. I don't need to include the same images over and over. Cute photo. Cute photo. All right, here's some of the more exciting scenery and an outfit change. Yep, that was cool. God, I love how fast those files load. It's insane. A little bit too much of an extreme rule of thirds here on my end. But, yeah, super cool, though. A little cool on the light here, so let's go ahead and increase that white balance, bring up my shadows a little bit. Let me see if I can actually edit this light stand out in Lightroom, but I'm going to try to, but I'm probably going to bring this into Photoshop. We'll see. Excuse me. Yeah, actually it's not too bad. Beautiful. Easy. Okay. Yeah, a little bit too much rule of thirds there. I think I fixed that though. Yep, right there I fixed that. Bring up the shadows just a tad. Love it. So for those of you who are watching, something cool happened today. As of today, today I was officially asked to be a brand ambassador for Cheetah Stand. So that's pretty cool. I've been using their light stands for a long time, actually. And it's super cool that they asked me to do that. So I'll be doing some more stuff with them coming up. Let's see here. I don't like, yep. I do like that. Love that. Okay, I'm just gonna do the same exact edits to this one that I did in the others. Obviously, sometimes when you have to remove light stands from your images, it kind of increases the amount of time you have to dedicate to each image. But for some of these money shots like this, it's definitely worth the investment. That one did not come out good. Let's try that again. Perfect. Let's get this out. Love that. There it is. Love that. Such a great day. So I love when you get those like really stormy skies. It's just like my favorite type of scenery. Like those moments where you almost like you could rain at like any moment. Those are my favorite days to take photos in. Their favorite conditions, I should say. You just get these really cool stormy skies. Thanks, Rick. Appreciate that. Love that. We're actually going to go a little bit further out. There we go. Oops. That's fine. Perfect. And then last one in this series, we're going to do the exact same edits on them, but I'm going to increase the exposure just a tad here. There we go. Yeah, man, Colorado is it's a pretty great place to be. You know, I get to see this scenery every week. Every week. Yesterday, I did an engagement session up about 20 minutes from my house, and the couple invited me to do photos at their home, which was like overlooks all of like Fort Collins, and it sits in the foothills, and everything was green, and there was deer, and it was just insanely beautiful. We've been the entire month of May, we've been getting just an insane amount of rain. It's rained pretty much almost every day for this entire month, and everything has just been super green. This is not a good example because we're in the mountains, but down kind of where I live on the base of the mountain, it's just been incredible. I did this photo because you can kind of see there's some elk right here. I just wanted them to be in the photo a little bit and not, not like be a huge part of the image. But then I think there's a shot right here where I focused in on them. Yep. These guys were actually like following us. It was a little sketchy, so we had to like move kind of quick. Kind of a cute photo. Not the best pose, but still kind of cute. Weird shadows. There we go. Kind of weird shadow still, but I'll include it. I think I was trying to do like a, yeah. Just trying to do like a backlit shot. You got to be careful with these backlit shots though, because sometimes, especially with women, you can really accentuate like the highlights in their hair, and if they have flyaways, it's not the most flattering thing. Perfect. Neat. I'm actually going to increase the white balance a little bit on that, a little bit more. There we go. Yeah, Rick, come visit me, man. I'd be happy to take you fishing. Any excuse I can have to take someone out fishing, I am never ever opposed to that. So, let me know, man. There is some good fishing here in Colorado. There's slightly better fishing in Wyoming actually, but that's because there's absolutely nothing to do in Wyoming and no one lives there. But really some really good opportunities for sure. Especially if you're willing to like go for a little hike. There's some lakes kind of up at the mountains like that you have to hike to that not a ton of people go to, and they can be really good in like July, August, and September. Yeah, these. Look at all these chickens. This is like standard operating procedure in Estes Park. It's just all these elk. So obviously I've blown these out a little bit, but I can fix them. Main thing I'm concerned about though is her hair. I'm trying to see if there's any photos I got without her hair kind of sticking up. There we go. Still sticking up, but not as bad. I think I reshot these where I fixed my exposure a little bit because the sky is a little blown out for my taste. Little blown out. Yep, I did fix them in the next series. But I still want to include some of these because the moment's good and the emotions are good. And I think that kind of trumps the making sure your photo is exactly perfect from a technical perspective. Yeah, see, I had him go back and do it again. I like his reaction. I like his expression there. So I am going to include this one. But yeah, I blew this out a little bit too much. But no big deal. I can fix that. God, I love this. This is way faster than my last computer, which I really appreciate. But still having this issue, this lagging issue, like right here. And I think that's just a Lightroom thing. It's not a computer thing. But yeah, see right there. It just took like a few seconds to load. Oh, see, now it's getting really bad. And I'd love, yeah, if anyone knows why it's doing that, I would love to hear your thoughts. Because that's frustrating. I don't like these as much. Yeah, see, like the lighting's better, but I don't like their expressions as much as I do in the last set. Like that one's not bad. Oops. Yeah, that one's not bad, but it's not as good as the other ones. Cool. More elk. And this session is almost done. Steve is about to buy a new computer. Mine is lagging bad with the new update. Yeah. That's part of the reason why I got this one too. It's just I couldn't stand how slow my old one was running. But I'm really digging it so far. It was very expensive. It's basically the top of the line MacBook Pro they sell, minus the upgraded storage. I got the 2 terabyte hard drive, and the biggest they have is 8. But it was like I think it was like $1,000 upgrade to go to the 8. And I figured, you know what, I'll just get external storage for that price. It's almost not worth it. I say that now, but then of course in 2 years I'll be like, damn it, why didn't I get, the upgraded storage? That'll happen. Some natural light shots of them. Yeah, just right there. I know I keep saying it, but that pause, that little break, it's driving me nuts, and I don't know why that's happening. And again, it's only happened when I'm been streaming live. This is the first time it's happened. We're gonna go ahead and do a sky select. We're gonna underexpose this a little bit, bring up my white balance just to give a little more pop, a little more purple as well. Neat. That's cool. Now we're getting we're getting really dark. I don't know if I want to include that. Why not? It's fun. I don't really like her, I don't like the light on her or anything like that, but it's kind of silly. And I don't know why I had... Did I have her turn away on the other side? I can't remember. I don't think I did. These are always super hard to do, these twirling shots. Because then they'll step out of your light, and then they'll face the wrong direction. Yeah, like I don't have any good light on her. Obviously her dress is coming up there, so we don't want to include that. Hairs in her face. Yeah, none of these are good. Not a single one. Crap. Not a single one. And her hair is like right in her face. I think... Yeah, that one's out of focus. And obviously her kind of an unflattering angle on her arm. I might do a liquefy on that. Let me see. Yeah, that's like the only good one out of the set. Yeah, even that. It's the light on him. They moved too much out of my light, so he's got this awkward shadow right there on his face. Yeah. Yeah. Let's go ahead and liquefy this. Generally don't like to do this. But obviously on a situation like this, it's important. So let's go ahead and bring this into Photoshop. Filter, liquefy. Let's see here. Let's bring this screen over here. And then let's zoom in. This is actually going to be a little tricky. Yeah, because I'm gonna have to edit that skin as well. This is a tough one. Yeah, it's not like, she's a big girl or anything, but it's just the way the light hit it and the way, just the angle and the light and it's just kind of a lot of things, kind of working against it. So I'm just trying to fix this, because obviously, being in this industry long enough, sometimes people can get self-conscious about things, and you want to do as much as you can to make them feel good about themselves. But there definitely is a fine line. You don't want to edit someone to the point where it looks unnatural, but at the same time, if it's something you can fix, that's not like gonna look obviously photoshopped or anything like that, why not? And I am not a professional retoucher, so this isn't going to look perfect, but it's going to look better than it did before, in my opinion. Still kind of looks a little off. I might do that one more time. And this is usually a lot longer than I'll typically spend on an image, but this was like the only decent one that I got in the set. Yeah, Yeah, see, that actually doesn't look natural. And I think it's just because it needs to be taken up over here more. Yeah, it's better. Just gonna do one more quick healing right there. I think we'll call that good. Not the best retouch job, but better than that, you know? Nah, it's still bugging me a little bit. I think it's a little too unnatural. And I think I just need to just bring it back out just a tad like that. Yeah. Little bit better. Okay. I'm good with that. And then let's go ahead and get rid of this light stand. And I think that'll do, pig. That'll do. Okay. So I'm going to be here for another 10 minutes or so if you guys have any more questions about anything, about photography or editing or life or whatever. Don't like this photo because it looks like he's choking her, and I think I actually told him. I think I told him to bring his arm down. I'm trying to scroll through real quick and see if I did. Yep, there it is again. Computer freezing. Yep, there we go. Told him to bring his arm down. I think I am going to just include a couple of these, but not too many because, again, it is kind of unflattering. I think I might just include that one, but just the way he's looking down, too. It's getting that weird shadow on his eye. So I don't really want to include too many of these. That's what happens is when you're using flash, you got to be really careful with, you know, especially with taller couples. You'll see this if the groom or the taller couple is looking down, you can get those kind of like raccoon eyes like he has right there. And that's just something you just got to be very careful of. See right there, now that his chin is up, you know, the light on his face is much better. And I'm not sure why I missed the focus on these a little bit. There we go. And I wish I would have. It was super windy, but I wish I would have maybe spent like an extra second just having her move some of that hair out of her face. But then again, it's always windy in the mountains, so. Oh, you're still seeing the Photoshop image. Oops, sorry about that. Thank you. There we go. Sorry about that. Basically, I'm just going through these just to kind of show you what I was going through. These photos, this series, he just kind of looked like he was choking her a little bit. So I just only included maybe a couple of them. Then I had him drop his hands. The hard thing, you know, I think the really hard thing about photography, or what, you know, a lot of photographers who are starting out kind of struggle with as far as portrait photography is concerned, is, you know, there's so many things that are happening, you know, at once that you have to deal with. You know, not only are you dealing with your light, not only your ambient light, but your flash, but you're also having to look at poses, facial expressions, amongst, and then if you're doing a wedding, you know, you're looking at it, you have to dealing with the timeline as well. So there's just so many external factors that you really have to kind of navigate and manage. And I think that's why a lot of people don't necessarily really like weddings, or they struggle with weddings, because you have just so many of those factors that can really make it challenging. So let's see here. Yeah, I like that. A little too hot on the skin tones there. Yeah, his skin's pretty pale compared to hers, so you gotta. It's a little harder, a little more challenging to find that fine balance between the highlights and shadows, and then of course your white balance. Don't like that. Yeah, hair just so windy. She had so much hair. Let's go ahead and get rid of this light stand though. Should be pretty easy removal. Hopefully, as I say that. This might have to be yeah, I might have to bring this into Photoshop. Let's go ahead and bring this into Photoshop real quick. Oh, is that spot healing? Yes, it is. Okay. Perfect. Clean that up a little bit. Looks good to me. All right, and bring this back into Lightroom. More elk. More damn chickens. He was really oops, didn't mean to do that. He was really stoked on his truck for whatever reason. So I wanted to make sure, or they asked me to get a couple photos of their truck in there. Skin tones are a little off. I'm gonna probably, yeah, it's a little too green. And bring up the exposure, bring up the white balance. There we go. Actually, let me copy and paste these settings to all of these because they're all shot in the same light. There we go. Damn, that was fast. Usually that would take me like a couple more seconds on my old computer. Oh, of course, now these are all a little overexposed because I just made that global edit, but that's okay. We'll just readjust. Not digging this pose. This was at the end of the session. This was like a last minute, oh hey, take this photo of us real quick kind of thing. I'm not stoked on those, but it's okay. We'll include it. These are a little bit better. Let me just neat. Okay. Cute. These are a lot cuter. I like how she's sitting on the brush guard of the truck right there. I'm gonna do this one a little bit tighter. Love that. Yeah, these guys are gonna be very happy. This is definitely a good amount of, definitely a good set of engagement photos. Typically a little bit more than I would deliver. I think my guess is gonna be probably somewhere around, probably about 100. My guess is 130 138 is what my official guess will be. $138 images. They usually deliver about 100, like 115 for an engagement session. I'm gonna guess 138 though. And we'll see how close I am. This angle is weird. I was trying to get the truck, the elk, and the dip all in one photo. And my light obviously is not amazing because I just shot this in natural light. This was a literally I was putting my camera gear was packed actually at this point. And they're like, "Oh, take this photo real quick." So I'm like, "Okay." This is at the end of the session. I think that's out of focus, yeah. Yeah, not the best angle, but all right, and that's it for that session. There's another one in here too, but let's see how many photos we got here. Oh, so I need to. There's 2 sessions on this memory card, so or in this folder. Oh wow, I think I'm gonna be way off actually. I think a lot more than I originally thought. So I'm gonna uncheck the ones where I had to Photoshop a light stand out. So let's see here. Final count is 168. Okay, so I said 138. So I was a little off, but that is a lot more than I usually do. Significantly more actually. Well, cool. I'm going to go ahead and export these, make sure all these settings are right. Let's go ahead and do 4,500 pixels on the long edge. And that's it. We're going to let these guys export, and then I will upload them to Shootproof and then go from there. Let me just go back to my streaming software here, go back to this. Perfect. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me. For those of you who watched, I'm pretty happy so far with this computer. There's a couple weird hiccups that I'll need to address. Maybe try a different catalog or something. Do a little bit of research and see why maybe some of the images are kind of skipping. I'll also try one-to-one previews. That I know that will actually increase the speed, but if I can eliminate extra steps, obviously that just saves me time, and that's part of the reason why I just bought this new laptop, was exactly that, just to save me time. So we got some really exciting stuff coming up. We have an interview with Daniela Gomez next week, which is going to be fun. Then we're going to do our image critiques at the end of the month as well, so make sure you look for the announcement for that. And then I have a workshop coming up in Chicago at the end of July 31st. It's a one-day off-camera flash workshop. It's only $249. Would really love to see you guys there. That's pretty much it. Keep posting in the group. I always love seeing your guys' photos. Thank you so much, as always, for watching, not walking. And we'll talk soon.